Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Tiki Hut Central. We are live today from Tiki Hut Studios here in Claremont, Florida. My name's Ken Rose. I'm your host for tonight's show, and I'd like to present our behind-the-scenes gal. Who are you over there?
Lisa Rose.
Lisa, how you doing today?
I'm good. How are you guys?
We are great. Are you feeling better? Or are you getting a little bit of a vibe?
I'm getting a little bit better.
Well,
Got some food in me. I'm feeling a little better.
Yeah,
now.
yeah. Don't sleep on your desk here because we got to keep you rolling. All right, no sleeping on your desk.
I'll try not to. It's already happened once today.
And to my left here, I have Mr. Chuck Gainsford from Gainsford Insurance. Say hi to everybody, Chuck.
Good evening, everybody.
Welcome to the show. Glad you made it out today.
Glad to be here.
And I'm glad you left your tie at home.
Yes, I did.
All right. Well, we're going to get into all kinds of insurance stuff with Chuck. We're going to get to know Chuck personally. We're going to have a little fun with Chuck as well. And as everybody knows, on the first show, or at the start of every show, we always open with a beer. So we have a few beers here.
Beer here.
This is, I think this is from, no, this isn't Key West. This is from the South Beach Brewing Company.
Oh.
This is a strawberry orange mimosa sparkling ale with an alcohol of about 5%, and it's 12 ounces. We're going to bust these open.
Okay, I changed my mind.
Oh, Lisa has decided.
You had me at
she's
mimosa.
Oh, I had her at mimosa. And while we're talking about mimosas, big shout out to Holly over at Blushing Bubbles. Thanks for today's cup order. We'll get that out to you ASAP. Let's give this a taste.
Not bad.
Yeah, that's good.
What do you think there, girl?
That's good. Mm-hmm.
Very good?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Chuck, what do you think?
It's okay.
It's okay.
It's not bad.
I mean, it's kind of weird, right? Strawberry orange.
I know. That's the hard part.
and I
That's
guess
why I like it, because it tastes fruity.
Yeah, it does.
and I guess it's from South Beach, which is kind of where you're from. We'll get into that in a little bit here.
Is this considered an IPA, Ken?
No.
I have no idea. No, I'm usually if it's an IPA, I make a funny face because it's got that bitter taste.
It's really
But
dark.
This is a sparkling ale.
Oh, okay.
So strawberry orange mimosa. It's GMO and gluten free for those of you that are gluten free. We're also gluten free. We had some pizza tonight. I don't know if there's gluten in it, but I'm sure it was good. And yeah, so give this a shout out. We got this over ABC tonight, and let's get into the show and let's get to meet Chuck. So Chuck, you are in the insurance business.
I am in the life insurance business. This is my 40th year, Ken.
40th. I don't know how you do that. Only 49. You must have started right after your paper route.
Yeah, when I was a kid, yes.
So, now originally, before we get into like what you do and how you do it, I know you're originally from the Bay Area, San Francisco.
Yep.
So, tell us how you started in the Bay Area, and what brought you to went to South Florida, right?
Yes.
So, give us a little history of.
Born and raised in San Francisco. Lived in a community called Pacifica, probably about the same size as Claremont, right on the Pacific Ocean, about 8 or 10 miles south of San Francisco. We lived about 2 miles inland, but we were high enough up that from our backyard we could see the Pacific Ocean. Nice view. But the downside is that it was always dark, gloomy, foggy.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
Fog. Yes.
Oh, yeah, foggy. But you never went barefoot. You never went outside without a sweatshirt or a jacket on, and it was always like that. Most people don't realize the average temperature in the city in San Francisco is about 58, 60 degrees. That's the average annual temperature.
Wow.
So pretty chilly, really.
But that's ironic because many years ago I had to go to Seattle for business, and all I heard was rainy, dark, gray.
Right.
I was there for 2 weeks. I went from Seattle. I had to go up to Vancouver. I was in Burnaby, and it was sunny and like 75 the whole time.
See?
Like,
Perfect.
So I don't know if you're honest or dishonest with the whole San Francisco weather thing. But you grew up in San Francisco.
Yep, grew up in San Francisco. My stepfather was in the Coast Guard, and he needed, believe it or not, he got ready to retire, and the Coast Guard told him, here's a man that served in World War II in the North Atlantic, served in the Korean War.
Wow.
All right, but they told him he was 2 months short as far as sea duty is concerned. All right, he spent all of World War II on the water, but he was 2 months short. So they gave him two choices. We could move to Long Island, New York,
Right. Woo! Give it up, Long Islanders.
or we could move to Miami. So it wasn't a real hard choice. The hard choice is that we had been, I had grown up in that area since, born and raised there, and I got all the way into high school, and we had to move. We had to be uprooted and move. And when we moved to South Florida, when we moved to Miami, I went to Miami Palmetto High School, and it was a giant high school. The high school that I was in Pacifica had 9th through 12th, and there were about 1,000 students.
Wow.
At Palmetto, when I graduated, we had over, I think, 900 kids in my senior class.
Wow.
So it was a big school. It was really kind of scary. It was. I was, 14, 15 years old, and I didn't know a soul.
Sure.
I hadn't met anybody over the summer. The kids that were in our neighborhood were younger than I was, so they weren't in high school yet. So it was different.
Did you have brothers or sisters?
I had a younger brother. He was 2 years younger than I am, and he made friends with all the kids in the neighborhood because they were all his age.
Oh,
so,
okay.
So he had no problem. And then I have two younger sisters. One still lives in Southern California, and the other sister lives in Sarasota.
Oh, wow.
Not too far
So
away.
you're all spread out with the family.
Yeah. Oh gosh, yes. Yeah, definitely. And it was different. Finished high school, started college at Florida International University when they only had one building. The college university had just been built. There was one building, the Primera Casa. For those of you that don't know, probably most of you don't, before FIU was there, that was Tamiami Airport. There was
Okay.
there was a private airport where the school was. They closed that up and moved it about, I'd say 15 miles south, 18 miles south, and they used the property that the airport had been on for the school. And now it's huge. I mean, the school now is huge. It really is. It's gigantic. I think it's one of the largest schools in the country now.
Wow.
Yeah, as far as actual attendance is concerned. But it's funny, I got into college, and I was finishing school, and Mom and Dad decided that they were going to move back to the West Coast. They got tired of Miami. So my brother and I were stuck there in Miami.
Well, there's worse places to be stuck
I
when
know.
you know.
We weren't
Sunshine and bikinis. I mean.
we weren't really stuck, but we were there by ourselves.
Right.
And then my brother decided, I'm moving back out to the West Coast too. So,
Oh, wow. So you were stranded.
Yeah, I really was. I was.
Golly.
I was all by myself. It was different. It really was. But things happened. Finished school. Got a job. Time went by. Got married. Had kids, and it's onward and upward, as they say.
Onward and upward. Yeah. Now
Soup to nuts.
soup to nuts. So did you meet Barbara in Miami?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Did she go to school there also? Is that right?
yeah?
How'd you meet?
She went to another school, actually a rival of our school. But I met her at Florida Power and Light Company, and
okay.
we both worked there, and that was, believe it or not, that was a very nice place to work. It was back then. It was like a big family. We were in what was called the general office, which is the corporate headquarters back then, and it was a big building. It was 6 stories, and I don't remember how many employees there were, but it was always a party there. It really was. There were a lot of young people.
And Barbara stood out.
She did.
Right.
She did. Yeah, and it was things happen. But
Was it a love at first sight?
no,
Or- no,
it wasn't.
no.
It wasn't.
So you married Barbara,
Yes.
and then you had a child.
Yep. Well, we,
You had one to start, right?
Yeah. No, she brought 2 young boys into the marriage. So I have 2 stepsons, but they've been with us since they were 3 and 5. So, they've always been very close. I've always been very close with them. And then 5 years after we got married, our first son was born. Ryan was born. And then 2 years after that, Brett was born.
Okay.
And so all the 4 boys have 4 letters in their name, not on purpose, but just the way it worked out. Yeah, and that's the way. And, you talked about being spread out. One son is in Houston. Another one is still in Miami. One's in Tampa. And fortunately, the youngest one is an attorney with Morgan & Morgan for the People.
Wow.
Here in Winter Park. So we get to see.
You get to see him all the time.
You get to
then.
see Brett, yeah.
Nice.
Brett and his wife and 2 little ones.
Oh wow! So you're a grandparent too. You got
Yeah.
all that
Oh yeah.
going on.
Yeah, from here to here.
Wow.
Because this will be nice. Let's see. I guess he's not my oldest grandson, but close to it. Patrick Denny is going to the University of Miami, and he's been receiving a lot of recognition. He's a DJ on WVUM on the University of Miami radio station.
He's supposed to be listening today.
I
isn't he?
hope
Or
he
maybe are you watching on Facebook tonight? Hopefully you can find us or YouTube.
Or YouTube. One
I
or
mean,
the other.
we're somewhere. I mean, this is
Yeah.
this is your grandfather.
Yeah.
Saying hey.
Yeah. And I told him that I was going to be on, but I like to listen to his show. He has a good grasp of music, and he plays. His nickname is Paddy, Paddy, Paddy on the mic,
Oh,
and he plays music from the 20s all the way up to the 90s.
that's a pretty big range.
Yeah,
Right.
it is. It really is.
It's
So
not like doo-wop in the 50s.
no,
It's
no,
like
no.
everything.
It goes all the way
Wow.
up. And I once in a while I give him a couple of Grandpa's favorites from the '60s. Child of the '60s, Ken.
Right.
But no, he's doing very well. He's just an excellent student, and don't know really. I don't know if Patty knows what he really what direction he wants to go yet. But he's got 2 more years, I think, so he'll figure it out definitely.
Nice.
Yeah. It
Now, I read somewhere, and I could be incorrect,
Uh-huh.
but I understand that you had a daughter named April
No,
who
that's our,
disappeared for 5 weeks, right?
that was our doggie.
Oh.
We had
so
we had,
what's the story on that? Because
we had a when we moved up from Miami to Weston, which is West Fort Lauderdale, we had 2 dogs, and one of them was a purebred Lhasa Apso. And we used to leave them, let them go out in the backyard to do their duty. And I'd go back out and open the sliding glass door, and they'd come running in. Well, April didn't come in, and this was the middle of the day. And somebody evidently, we found out afterwards that it was going on. Some dogs were being snatched from the yards.
really,
Yes, and evidently somebody got April, and I was, we were both pretty upset about it. And I would go to the Humane Society one day, and then I'd go to the, to the pound, I guess you'd call it. I used to alternate back and forth, and I did that every day. Couldn't find him, and finally, 5 weeks later, we think what happened is somebody snatched April, and then they decided they didn't want her, and they put her out on the street. And we saw something in the paper that there was a dog, a Lhasa Apso for sale. It was gray, same color as April. And we called the number, and it wasn't. It was a rescue organization. And they said, but there's another dog at the pound, and it was going to be put down the next day.
wow.
And so we had them go get April and take her to a vet in Hollywood, Florida. And she was a chubby little thing. She weighed about 20 pounds, 22 pounds. And like I said, I'd been looking at dogs for 5-6 weeks now. And I saw April, and I couldn't tell. And I felt so bad because this dog weighed about 13 pounds.
Oh wow.
And
So
she had
hadn't
lost
made
so
it?
much weight, and she had scabs on her. She just looked horrible. And so I called Barbara and my son Brett, who was home from high school, and I said, listen, I can't tell. I want you guys to drive down there and see if it's April. And they drove down there, and I got a call from Brett, and I can still hear him saying, we got our dog back. and it was. And the funny thing was is they were very protective about making sure that we were the owners
I bet.
of the dog. And so I went there the next day, and April was like my little girl, and I was holding her in my arms like a little baby, and I said, give me a hug. And she put her head up against my chest, and the girls that were in there, the aides and the doctor, they knew that was our dog. So they started treatment with heavy-duty antibiotics and medicines, and she was in there for another couple days. And then we took her home, and we had 2 other dogs, and it was kind of funny. They gave her a lot of room, and April followed us around, one of the 2 of us, for about 6 or 7 months after she got back. We had to be very careful. We had to try and make sure that one of us was home all the time, and she was pretty good about it. But the poor little thing must have been in an accident, because Ken, you'll know what I mean when a car's in an accident and the chassis has been damaged.
Oh, sure.
You know how it goes kind of crooked.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's the way April walked.
Oh, wow.
And it was
Aw.
and she had a broken tail, and
Oh my gosh.
poor little thing. But no, she lived until she was. How old was April? She was 16.
Oh,
I
wow.
think 16 and a
She got
half.
another good 10 years.
Yeah, she
that's
did.
incredible.
Yeah,
Good.
she lived had a good life. She really did. But that was a pretty scary thing, and it was so unusual that we got her back that the newspaper, the Fort Lauderdale Sun-Sentinel, came out and did a story.
Yep.
Put us on the cover of the Broward edition, and yeah, it was really different. It was odd.
See what happens when somebody Googles you?
Yeah.
I get information, and there you go. So,
There you go.
So there
Yeah.
you know he's an animal lover.
By the way, his grandson is watching.
Oh, he is.
Oh,
He
good.
says, of course I'm watching. Me and my parents are watching. Thanks for the
good.
shout out, Grandpa.
Oh, good.
Excellent.
And Shauna says, hi, Chuck. Hi, Ken and Lisa. Shauna and Dustin.
Oh, good.
Oh,
They're watching
hey.
too.
Yes.
Hey, Sean and Dustin. Yeah, we had them on the show. Precision Integrative Medicine.
Yes.
They are everywhere now, and they're fixing people in this town. So if you're broken or you have an issue, from acupuncture to holistic medicine.
If you have a broken tail.
If you have a broken, well, I don't fix dogs, but but look them up. Dustin and Shauna, great couple. Check them out. Precision Integrative Medicine.
Definitely. Yeah.
Ooh, look at that. See, you get some listeners there.
Yeah. How
So-
about that?
So tell us about Chuck. What you have any hobbies? Do you play sports?
You know what?
was your-
It's funny when I was young, because I'm not at a young.
Well,
You know.
you're more
but,
mature now.
Yes, thank you. I'm seasoned. How's that?
Seasoned.
Yeah. I was a 3-sport letterman in high school. Football, basketball, and baseball.
Oh wow. Okay.
And when I was in college, I could dunk a basketball.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think I could touch the net anymore. But I still enjoy playing golf. Right. I really do. I wish I could run. I used to love to run. When I don't know if Barbara will remember this, but when I was running back in the late 70s and early 80s, when we went on vacation, the spot that we would go to had to have a 10K, had to have a 10K race. Okay, so I could run.
What?
Man,
So it
I
was.
struggle doing a 5K.
I have a friend like that, but she only runs in events that have beer at the end.
Oh yeah.
So hey, Nancy.
Is that kind of a prerequisite for
Yeah.
Now
yeah.
it is. Yeah. Nowadays.
races?
Yeah, Nancy only races in races that have beer at the end.
The beer. That's a good. That's a
good
good
thing.
way to do it. But no, I enjoy my golf. Not as active as I would like to be. I really enjoy reading. I love to read, and it's funny. The people at the library know me.
Do they have those still? I mean,
You know what? Yes, and I enjoy going to the Cooper Memorial Library here in Claremont.
right.
Because I read so much, it would be foolish for me to be buying these books. I read probably 2 to 3 books a week.
Oh wow.
So I can usually, sounds a little odd, but I can usually read about 100 pages an hour.
Wow.
So I can go through the books 2 nights for a book maybe, and it just I enjoy it. I really do. And so I have about believe it or not, I have about 25 or 30 authors that I follow, fiction authors.
Do you have a favorite or?
I have they're all favorites.
They're all favorites.
They all are. Yeah, and I've got it. There's a website. It's called fantasticfiction.com, and it has about criminy. I think it has about maybe 30,000 authors in there that you can look up, and it has their books. Has the books in chronological order. So if you want to follow a certain character, you can do it that way. So if I'm going to start a new author that I've never read his books before, and I want to, and he might have a section of might have a character that he's written 4 or 5 books.
Like a Jack Ryan kind of.
Yes,
okay.
yeah, or Alex Cross, James Patterson.
Right.
Yeah. I'll start at the beginning and keep them in that way, because that way you can read the character as he develops the character each book. The character gets older. Like there's let's see, I'm trying to think of there's a author named William Kent Kruger, and his main character is a sheriff in Minnesota. And he's part Indian. I don't remember what tribe, but he's written enough books where the character is now, I believe, 19 or 20 years older from when he started writing.
So it was really fleshed out.
Yeah, yeah. He's gotten his wife has died. His kids are adults now. He's remarried, and it's just they're, like I said, it's entertaining. I enjoy it. There's a lot to watch on TV, but yeah.
Yeah, I probably read 2 or 3 books a year. Because I'm a John Grisham fan.
Oh, I love
so every October, Grisham publishes a new book, and that's what I read.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Wow, I burped accidentally. I've never done that on air. Sorry, everybody.
That's okay.
I didn't even hear it.
I didn't either.
It was terrible.
It was just
Well. The funny thing is that I could always read. But I never really read. So I would read something. I wouldn't. I couldn't tell you who the character was from 10 pages ago.
Didn't want to retain anything.
Yeah, and through college the same thing. I just couldn't retain. And then one day I was traveling. I think I was coming back from Pittsburgh back to Long Island, and I went to the bookstore, in the airport, and picked up The Firm. And that was the first. And I was stuck in the airport for 8 hours. 8 hours, and I read the book cover to cover, and I finally read.
Yeah.
For the first time, I finally
'Cause you didn't
knew
put
the
it down.
characters. I knew every event. I knew everything about it. So Grisham's kind of my
So he's
thank you guy.
he's your trigger.
He's my trigger guy.
It's funny you talk about that. I remember when I really started reading. Boy, it was a long time ago, but we were in Miami because we moved from Miami to Weston up here to Claremont. But we were in Miami, and the dryer broke. And and I had to take the clothes to the laundromat, and so I did, and I did the same thing you did. I went and I bought a book, and as I was doing the clothes, I read, started reading, and I thought, this is enjoyable. I like this. And
when you have the time and you can really dedicate it.
And that's what I started doing. So I started, I guess you'd say, I carve out a little time in the evening to read. And then when it's quiet and at this point in time, there's nothing, I guess you'd say, new on prime time. It's all repeats.
No, it's all old.
Yeah, it's summertime. So it's a good time to read. It really is.
So you're a prolific reader.
Oh goodness,
which is like our friend Dave Helton.
Yeah,
and Dave tells the story that Dave usually reads like at 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the morning. He gets up early and
couldn't do that.
my
and
gosh.
reads. Nobody knows because we haven't videotaped that.
I'm looking
yet,
at the back of my eyelids.
But we'll see.
No.
But anyway, all right. So golf and reading. So let's move forward a little bit more.
And one more hobby.
Oh, what's the other one?
I love music.
Music. Oh, we're going to talk about music at the end of the show. We always do a music segment.
Okay.
So we're going to
Good.
get into
We'll
that at the
save
end
that.
of the show.
Yep.
So let's move down or up the coast. What brought you to South Lake County? What brought you to Claremont?
Okay. We moved from Miami. We were there from 77. We moved into that house. We lived in a little 2-bedroom house for a couple years, and then we built the house. excuse me, in Miami. We were there from 1977 to 1994, I think, or 95. And then it had been 2 years, 3 years since Hurricane Andrew just devastated South Florida. And, the demographics of the area changed, and we just decided, we didn't want to be here anymore.
Sure.
We really didn't. And I had an office in Coconut Grove, and it was a great spot. It was in the Coconut Grove Bank Building. I was up on the 6th floor. On a clear day, I could see from my office all the way. I could see the lighthouse on Key Biscayne, which was probably about 8 miles away. And it was really nice, but it just started getting so crowded. And I didn't want to go out on the weekends. I didn't want to, leave the house. It was there was so much traffic. And like I said, things had changed. A lot of the people had moved out. There was a new group of people, just different. And we decided, let's get out of here. So we moved up to Weston.
Okay.
We moved into a new house, into a new development, and it was quiet. It really was. And when we first moved in there, it was so quiet. Across the street from us was, just to show you where it was pasture. And at night you could hear the cows mooing.
Wow.
And if the wind was right, you could actually
smell the cows.
Smell the
coming by,
cows too.
Yeah.
That was pretty gamey. But it was just a nice place. But as time went on, once again, it started growing. And Broward County, which is Fort Lauderdale, it started filling up, and it got to the point again where I didn't want to leave the house. I tried to either get home real early or real late because the rush hour was ridiculous. And on the weekends, it was terrible. It was just not, a nice place to be. And we came up here to my youngest son, Brett, graduated from University of Florida, and then he went to law school. He decided he didn't want to be he went to Vanderbilt, didn't want to practice law in Nashville. So he moved to Orlando, and he and his wife were there, and they had a big house, no kids yet, and we sold our house, and we moved in with Brett and Rachel until we found a place out here in Claremont. And it was just so nice out here. It was really so different.
And luckily, there's no growth out here, which is even, right?
Yeah.
Well, we make mirth of that, okay? We make mirth of the fact that it's getting crowded, but this is nothing like South Florida. I mean, it's a screwy down there. It really is. And it's I use the term up here, Ken, that it's comfortable.
Right.
It is. It's really comfortable. It's pleasant. Everybody is very polite. No horn honking, no bird flipping.
Occasionally.
Well, that's because I haven't followed you yet in my car.
I'll make sure you get in front of me.
Yeah, you see a big blue truck coming, just move to the side.
Yeah, move to the side.
So you're here in Claremont.
Yep.
And so tell us about where Gainsford Insurance came from and how you got involved in the insurance business.
Okie doke. I had been with Florida Power and Light Company, and if you weren't an engineer, or had an engineering degree, your ability and your opportunity for growth, I guess you'd say, or a growth pattern, it wasn't as good as it was for an engineer. And I didn't have an engineering degree, and it was different. So I had a friend of mine that had been in the insurance business for I guess I'm going to say 5, 6, 7 years. And he thought, you do very good in the insurance business. And I thought, well, I'll give it a shot. And so I went in cold, very different to do it, but I kind of acquired a rhythm, I guess you'd say, in what to do. I was reading like crazy. I was soaking up as much information as I could, and to me it was very interesting. And I enjoyed the people. I was very fortunate to work with a bunch of guys and ladies that I really enjoyed, and it was nice. It really was. And I started work with a company called Union Mutual. Their home office is in Portland, Maine, and their main product back then was disability insurance. To cover you in the event that you become disabled by virtue of an accident or sickness.
Right.
And
Or wood chipper.
yeah, they're the largest provider of disability insurance in the country.
So is that what you first started selling? Was
Disability insurance to professionals. Everybody else was selling to doctors and attorneys, and I decided, well, there are other professionals out there. There are CPAs, there are architects, there are engineers, and they need it as well. So I started pounding those guys, and then I found out that it's so different from Claremont, but there were insurance agents and young guys, and we were falling all over each other because there were so many there in South Florida.
Like realtors in Claremont.
There you go, just like that.
Just like realtors in Claremont.
Just like that. And I decided, you know what? I guess this is what they call, Ken, thinking outside the box. All right. I said, I'm not going to target, the ones that are already being targeted. I'm going to target a city. And I got out a map and I looked around, and Homestead, Florida was south of Miami, probably about 30, 35 miles. And then I did a little more research. There were no insurance agents down there.
Okay.
And or just a couple. When I say no, it wasn't zero, but there were just 2 or 3. And I thought, what should I do? How should I approach this? So I drove down to Homestead. I got the Homestead white pages, and I got the Homestead yellow pages, and they were just like that, little teeny. Like I said, about the same size as Claremont. And I made a couple telephone calls, and I wanted to find out who some of the players were, the movers and shakers.
Sure.
And everybody kept telling me that Dr. House was the main guy. So I called him up. I introduced myself, and he was just a very nice man. He was a former submarine commander.
Oh, okay.
And also an MD. But he was also an auto racer. I mean, this guy.
So he needed insurance.
Yeah.
He needed insurance in a bad way.
Well, I kind of I helped him out with some like business issues, and because of what I did for him, he made about $3 million the first year, and
because of what you did?
Yeah, because of some of the things that I showed him how to do certain things with with health insurance.
Wow.
And he was beholden to me, and he gave me referred just a bunch of people to me, business owners, and that's how I got started. Where I didn't have to make cold calls, I didn't have to buy leads, and it was fun. It really was.
Was this for your own company at the time?
Yeah.
Okay, you started your own thing.
So this was Gainsford Insurance
back then. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And because I had given up my spot in an agency, I guess you'd say, and so it was like I said, it was a neat experience. It really was. It was a lot of fun, very educational, and to see the way people react, the way that they act in different situations, and it was kind of neat because I got a chance to meet and work with the mayors of both municipalities down there, Homestead and Florida City. And every once in a while, I still call up the mayor in Florida City, and we'll chat. I'll ask him how the kids are doing.
Right.
Now, his kids are grown up now, also they're adults as well. Yeah, it's nice to be able to have that contact. And then hurricane.
Now, was that just disability insurance at that
No,
time?
that was it. Was
So that was
a full portfolio.
life and
Disability and group health for the businesses.
okay.
Okay.
All right.
So I was
So you
taking.
covered all of that.
I was covering, the bases. And then everything was just going peachy, and Hurricane Andrew came in and just wiped Homestead
Oh, yeah.
practically
Gone.
off the map. It really did. And it was horrible. And a story about Dr. House. He was in Colorado Springs. His son was graduating from the Air Force Academy. And he found out that there was a hurricane heading towards Miami. He figured, I'd better get home. So he got on a flight, he and his wife, and headed back to Homestead, Miami Homestead. And they're on the plane, and here's a newlywed couple. They're on the plane. They're going to go on a cruise.
Oh, wow.
And Dr. House said, no, you're not. There's a hurricane coming. They said, oh, no, we checked with the travel agency. Everything is just fine. Well, they got down to Miami and found out that the hurricane was heading that way. And Dr. House said, well, why don't you come, stay with us, because it's supposed to hit Miami
Sure.
and not Homestead. Well, they got down there, and I guess in transit, the hurricane decided to move, and it shifted direction, and it hit Homestead directly.
Dead on.
And I mean, Dr. House Marshall had had a house, a big house, but he also had stables in the back. And the house just, like the big bad wolf, it blew away. But the stables were still there
Wow.
the next day. And I mean, everything, it was like...
Everything was leveled.
Yeah, our house was, when we got up the next morning, it was like the Wizard of Oz. There was nothing there. And, parts of the houses were all over in the street and in our yard. And, but Marshall was telling me, Dr. House was telling me that that couple got up the next day, and the guy says, call us a cab.
Wow.
No electricity, no phones, and I mean, no nothing. And the poor people in Homestead, there were people down there. They didn't have electricity. That hit in the end of August, 1991, I think. And they didn't have electricity. 92? Okay. They didn't have electricity until, some of them until November and December. So they were working on generators. There were people that were in the tent city. It was just a bad situation. But that husband and wife, they decided that they were just going to leave. So Marshall said the last thing he remembers is he sees them walking down the road about 12 miles from US 1. I don't know what they were expecting.
Greyhound bus or something.
Yeah, I don't know. It really is. But after we moved to Weston, I gave up my office space in Coconut Grove. I told my partners, I've got to quit this. I can't be driving from Coconut Grove to Weston, Fort Lauderdale. It was just too much driving.
And now you're here.
And now I'm here. But
Gainsford Insurance.
there's nothing far away here in Claremont. This is awesome. I mean, I used to I remember one year, Ken, I put 32,000 miles on my car. 1 year, yeah. And here, it's like 6,000 or 8,000. It's awesome.
Well, let's talk a little about insurance.
Okay.
Okay. One of the questions that I wanted to get for our viewers is the importance of planning ahead.
Okay.
Because so many people wait until the end of the road or something catastrophic happens. Why is it so important to plan before
Things happen?
things happen?
Okay. The first thing that people should always think about is the cost. That's the first thing, because life insurance is always purchased at your attained age. So, and the premium on a permanent policy isn't going to change. All right. So once you buy it at that premium, it's that way forever. And naturally, as you get older, you get step up, and as you get older, the steps become bigger. There's a bigger difference. Each step is a little longer. So it gets to be real expensive. It really does. And if you don't have the funds to pay for it, you have to look for different avenues. And there are really two types of insurance. There's term insurance, which people buy for a specified term. And then there's permanent insurance, and you've heard of whole life and universal life. Those are the two main, I guess you'd say, categories. But the term insurance, nothing wrong with it. It's a good way to start. Stick your big toe in the water and test it out. The unfortunate part is, as time has gone on, not enough young people are entering the industry. And it's, you hate to say it, but, from my point of view, it's shrinking. It really is. There are all sorts of communication,
Right.
commercials, things on
E-insurance. and all of
digital.
those things.
Yes, yes. And the sad part is that they're not telling you the whole story. And I talked with a guy real intelligent up here, and he was telling me about how he saved all this money and blah blah this, blah blah that. And I asked him, okay, what company did you purchase? And he told me, and I'm not going to name names, but it's I always try and make sure that everybody has a back door, okay, a way to get out, okay. And with term insurance, if something happens, if you say you have an illness that isn't going away, you need to be able to convert your policy from a term policy to a permanent policy without any evidence of insurability, because that's what it's all about. It's all about disclosure. And he purchased a contract, and I knew it from experience. The company that he used, the term policy, doesn't have a conversion. Okay.
So he's stuck with that, and then he's got to get
that. He's stuck with the length of time of the term, and then after that, if he wants to keep the coverage, and he can't, buy insurance because of his health history, he's at the mercy of whatever the insurance company wants to charge him. And after the term is up, the majority of your companies increase the premium every year. So it might start out as $500 a year for a policy, but at the end of 10 years or 15 years, whatever term you buy, instead of $500, now it might be $1,200 in the 11th year, and then $1,500 in the 12th year, and it goes up like that. So you're stuck. You're at the mercy of whatever they want to charge you because you can't get coverage anyplace else.
Well, let's talk about that, because as adults, we always wait to get insurance. So I'm not going to ask you to quote actual figures,
Numbers,
but
right.
but let's say that you are 22, just out of college,
Right.
and you want to buy a $1 million policy.
Here's the IFR, okay, and that's always such a big two-letter word. All right. One of the things that the insurance companies want to see is your insurable interest. Okay. Why would a 22-year-old want to buy a giant policy like that? Okay. That's the first thing.
Okay.
The second thing is would they be able to afford it? Okay. We don't know, because like I said, I don't know. And how healthy are they?
Well, I guess
you hope that they're healthy. Yeah.
I guess my point is two-pronged then. I mean, it could be a $100,000 policy or two.
Yeah.
So at 22, the annual premium on that policy is
X. Right.
Now, if that person waits until they're 42 to purchase the same policy,
it might be as much as 2 or 3 times more expensive, just in 20 years.
and then in your 50s, if you try to buy that same
Gets
policy,
bigger.
it gets
Yeah.
bigger.
Yeah. Oh yes. Oh goodness. Yes. Yeah. It gets much.
So
much
the younger,
bigger.
the better in this.
Yeah,
respect.
the younger the better, because like I said, you're buying it at your attained age, and the premium stays the same. Term insurance, like I said, there's nothing wrong with that if you understand that you're buying it for a specified term. And they'll have a 10-year term, 15, 20, and even some carriers have 30-year term. And those premiums are guaranteed for that specified term, the length of time, 10 years, 15, or 20. But after that, once again, you're at the mercy of your health history, your age, and and actually what you're trying to accomplish.
Now, do term policies have a cash value?
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Once upon a time, some of them had a teeny cash value. No, it's I always try and describe it more as almost like renting your insurance, because that's what you're doing. You're renting it you're leasing
period
it.
of time, right.
You're leasing it, yeah. And once your lease is up, you're over with. So it has no cash, but you're not really buying it to accumulate money.
Right.
You're
so
buying
it's like
it.
car insurance.
Yeah,
Really.
yeah. You're buying it to keep the premium down because that's what you'd like to do. You know that you need the coverage, and that's it's an easy way to do it. It's a good way to start. It really is. But you have to pay attention, and you have to monitor your situation. I'm working with a couple young doctors here in town, and they've had their term policy for 2 years. Okay, now it's about time for them to consider buying a permanent policy because their practice has grown to the point now where they can afford it.
Right. So one of the things that we bring up with a lot of our guests that come on the show is why do business locally? Because like you mentioned, you go online and get insurance, but the advantage to going online is you can probably get you may get something cheaper, not necessarily better, and you have no assurance of if it's a good policy, bad policy, or anything like that. Why should we buy insurance locally?
Well, hopefully you're going to deal with an agent that has a good grasp of the market, has a good grasp of the companies that are still doing business. Believe it or not, many have bailed out of the market. And that's what you hope for, because like I said, when you hear these things on TV, for, like you said, the
cheapest rate, best term, the
yeah,
whole craziness.
Yeah. And they say that, John can get a policy, $1 million for, $30 a month. Well, they don't tell you that he has to be a super healthy person. He can have no
body fat,
no health
medical issues.
No health issues. You just can't.
Right.
I have been fortunate the last couple of years. There are what they call different degrees of underwriting, and how they classify the applicants as far as their health is concerned. Once upon a time, it was either smoker or non-smoker. That was it.
Correct.
Okay. Now, I know this sounds kind of silly, but they have smoker and they have preferred smoker, because as far as the insurance companies are concerned, they're a healthy person. They smoke. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
It's going to affect their mortality, but they're still relatively healthy. Okay. So they have two classes for that. But on the other side, where on the non-smoker side, they have non-smoker, which is average, and then they have non-smoker plus, which is a little less premium, so it's a little better, a little healthier. Then they have non-smoker preferred, which is a real healthy person. And then many of the carriers even have what they call preferred plus or super preferred, and those are the ones that are really, those guys are nuts. But
now, if they use tobacco, like chewing tobacco, they still consider that a smoker?
That is a smoker. They even consider now, what do they call vaping? The vaping is considered smoking because it's nicotine, and yes, and that's considered a smoker. Now, this is the weird part, and I mean really weird. You can be a cigar smoker and be considered a non-smoker as long as your cigar smoking is limited, X amount of cigars a month.
Would that be like joints, smoking marijuana?
No, we make mirth of that too. All right, there are a couple of carriers. There's one. It's a very large Canadian company, and their application wants to know your marijuana use. And underneath, in bold print, it said marijuana use will not automatically decline your coverage.
You just may be paying a hell of a lot.
No, they're just trying to put things in order in slots.
Oh, okay, all right.
And they want to find out.
So they're building data.
Yes.
For future.
For your issue, for your policy, because it's the underwriter. They're going to make the decision. Normally, when somebody goes to purchase insurance, the insurance company wants their history, and they're going to want to know, what kind of a person they are, how healthy they are. So they have an examination where blood is taken, drawn, and urine sample. They want to find out if you're telling the truth, whether or not you're smoking or not. So they're going to check for nicotine. And that part, the blood and the urine, is sent to a lab. Usually, there's a couple of big ones, one in Shawnee Mission, Kansas, and one in New Jersey. So they're going that way. And then whatever carrier you're using, the application goes to the insurance company. And after the lab has analyzed your drawings, that is sent to the insurance company. They put the two together, and then they make a determination on where they want to, put you, what class they're going to give you. Are you a healthy person, or are you an average, or are you really healthy? Are you super preferred? And that's pretty much the way that it works for the life insurance. And disability is the same thing. Smoker, well, for them it's smoker or non-smoker, but they want your background as well, because you have to remember they're going to pay a benefit out, a monthly benefit. Now, we talk about it once again differently, and because I've been in the business for so long, I've seen quite a few issues as far as disability claims. I had one doctor. He was a surgeon. He was an orthopedic surgeon. How this ever happened? He got tennis elbow in both elbows. Okay, but whoops. But he didn't play tennis, Ken. Didn't play tennis, but he got.
Well, there's other things he could have been doing.
Yes, I know.
To affect.
Yes,
anyway, that's another show for another time. Well, you know what? Let's segue a little bit, because you mentioned something with in regards to Dr. House.
Yes.
That because you reached out to one person. You didn't have to go through the white pages to call. So that brings us to an important segment on the show that we talk about, and that's brand marketing. And you are everywhere in town. You are at the chamber breakfasts.
Yep.
You are a director
on the board of directors for the chamber. Yep.
What else do you have going on?
I'm on the board of directors. I'm on the public policy committee, which is kind of a middle person for between the businesses of South Lake County and governmental agencies, city, county, and state. I'm on the golf tournament committee.
You network everywhere.
Yeah, well, that's how you have to be known. But it was, like I said, with Dr. House, it was kind of neat because in essence, he was networking for me.
He was doing the legwork.
He was, but he knew everybody.
Sure. But here, you're everywhere.
Yeah, you need to be. Yeah,
and that builds your business.
It does. It builds my my reputation, my credibility, and my I guess you'd say my opportunity and my ability to speak with people.
Right.
Because I see some of these young guys that they're starting out in the business. I'm working with two guys. I'm mentoring two young guys that they think they want to be agents. I was working with another guy. He bailed out. He lasted about 4 months, and that was it. He decided it was too tough, and he's gone. The other guy is he's got a different road to travel, but we'll see. But you have to be able to work with people in this business. You really do. You need to know how to talk to people. One of the things that Dr. House used to like that I guess he enjoyed about me is he used to take me to play golf at least once or twice a month. And his reasoning for that was I was a good listener. He said I was a better listener than his therapist.
Wow.
And so we'd go to his club and we'd play golf. A couple times I was his therapist, so to speak, but no
and he
input.
Kept feeding you leads.
Yeah, and he kept giving me leads because I was doing a good job for his patients. He had the largest book of patients in Homestead. He had about, 9,000 patients.
So that became your book of business.
That was my my marketing, farm, I guess you'd say, was
because
a lot of his patients. Yeah.
And it's just massive because I think people lose sight when they think of marketing that you have to have a massive budget, and you have to spend, and with you because we've been friends for a while. I know that you are at Kiwanis, right?
No, it used to be, not
used to be
anymore.
Kiwanis.
In Miami, I was a Kiwanian. Yes.
But you are at almost all the business after hours.
Yep.
You are at the third Friday breakfast usually.
Yep.
You are at
the
South
first,
Lake Connect luncheon. You're
at the first Friday.
First Friday.
South Lake Business Leaders.
South Lake Business Leaders.
The Hint Group, which is the health industry networking team. That's once a month, and
all this costs you how much money monthly?
not a lot.
Just for a meal, right?
If you buy lunch, and like today, they had a meeting at the Sanctuary Ridge Golf Course, and I was going to have a bowl of soup, but the soup didn't sound real appetizing.
So a small budget.
Yes, a very
maybe a
small
couple
budget.
$100 a month.
Yeah,
at
most. Yeah. Well, you have to remember that everything with the chamber, there's no cost.
Correct.
Yeah. So my cost is just for things that aren't chamber related, and because you get a kick out of this. Lisa probably doesn't know, but I have a bad reputation for winning door prizes.
Oh, no. This is a fact. And I'm going to tell you the story because Renee Lowe rubs him all the time, and we had gone to Denise Calderon's grand opening in Mineola.
Oh, you guys told me about this.
Yeah.
And we're at the event, and Chuck's there. And I said hi to Chuck. I rubbed him on the back. Good to see you again. Whatever. I won twice at that event. So if anybody's down on their luck or things aren't going your way, say hi to Chuck. Make sure you touch him, but in a kind and gentle way.
Right.
And your luck may change.
He's like a magic lamp.
Yeah, you want to have good juju. But I've been up here. We've been up here 7 years now. Mm-hmm. Okay, and I believe, Ken, honest to God, I think I've won more than 50 door prizes.
Wow.
At least.
And I've won the chamber has a 50-50 where,
at the busy after hours, all the time.
3 times.
3 times. There you go.
So, and the 4th time, it wasn't me that won. I was holding the ticket for somebody else. They said, "You always win. Will you hold my ticket? I have to go." And the winning, we were out at Bella Collina. That one was, I think, $320.
Wow.
Oh my
So it was big. But I won golf for 4 at Bella Collina. I've won golf at Sanctuary Ridge. Publix gift certificates. What's the one? Bonefish Grill. Chili's.
So let's rub his back and then go play the lotto tonight.
So the reality is, Chuck wasn't telling the truth a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
It costs him nothing to market because of the luck that he has and the prizes he wins.
That's correct.
So his marketing budget is 0.
Yeah.
But one of the things in Claremont, South Lake County is a sense of community.
It is.
And every place we go, I mean, I'm sure you and Barbara go out, and Lisa and I are out all the time, and there isn't one place we go where we don't run into somebody.
Isn't it nice?
And shoot the breeze about something.
The only time, Ken, honest to God, this is the only time that this has happened to me, actually twice, okay? Once was last year. I went to a function at the Claremont Brewing Company. Mm-hmm. It was on a Tuesday night, and I walked in there, and I knew the people that were at the function, but I didn't see anybody else in the brewery that I knew, and I thought, well, that's a little odd.
Sure.
The other time was the World of Beer was having their anniversary or something. So I went with a friend, and we were there, and we didn't see anybody. Neither one of us.
See, that's so strange.
Yeah, it really is. But otherwise, yes.
I mean, all the time.
Well, I think you have to go to the places that you normally frequent. I'm not a World of Beer guy.
But if we go to Claremont Brewing,
yeah,
or
somebody like that, yeah, definitely, or
Sun Creek, or
Chili's or Sun
Graffiti.
Creek,
or,
Oh, yeah.
Texas Roadhouse,
Texas Roadhouse,
Olive Garden, those
Right.
guys over there. You always see somebody that you know.
always somebody
yeah.
that you know.
Carrabba's, yeah, definitely.
Now, obviously, last year was an anomaly for business. I
Yes.
mean, we felt it here.
Yep.
How did COVID affect the way that you conducted business last year? What did you have to do in order to stay in contact with your clients
To get over the hump,
to get over the hump?
It really was an odd situation because when the doors closed, it was like pulling the shades down. There was nothing, and for the first couple of months, it was hard.
Right.
People, you could tell people didn't want to talk. I mean, they were very involved with their health, with themselves, and that's to be understood.
Oh, absolutely.
Definitely. But as time went on, it was funny. I got a lot of calls about information about people's mortality.
Oh, I'm sure.
And they wanted to know about their rate of mortality, and I have all that information. So it was something that I did. But as far as business goes, there was not a lot. It was, I didn't really see any business until towards the end of the year.
Right.
And this year has been much better. It's been slow though. Okay?
It's been a slow go for
Yeah.
us too. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
it's
just
starting
trying to climb back to normal.
Yes, it is. It's starting, but it's still slow. It really is, and and it takes a while for because I came up here not knowing a soul. And so I was really kind of starting business from scratch again. The good part is I still had my all my clients in South Florida. And when we first moved up here, I was going down to South Florida almost every other week. I would spend sometimes 2, sometimes 3 days down there, generating business.
Sure.
And trying to keep the ball rolling. And then the second year, it went down from maybe every other week, at least 3 times a month. It went down to about once a quarter, and then after that, it went down to maybe, I don't know, 3 times a year. And I haven't been to South Florida, Ken, since October of 2019 because of the COVID.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, and I've had a number of friends down there that have really got it bad. And a good friend of mine and his wife were down for 3.5 weeks, where they were really bedridden. They weren't hospitalized, but they were bedridden. It was it's hard. It really is, and it's a big city. It's different than we have here. The thought process is different. So it was difficult getting over the hurdle. Yeah, I'm like you said, like that.
You would think that this year, people would be calling you like crazy, though, worried about their health and, starting to think more about
They're starting
life
to
insurance.
think. They're starting to think, but they haven't done, if you know what I mean. Yeah, one of the things that I noticed is that the people here in Claremont are sometimes they're resistant, and sometimes it's a little difficult for them to pull the trigger. And
I think for everybody with stuff that you may not need,
yeah, but it's a little
But
different.
sometimes
It
you
really
don't
is.
want to think about
Yeah.
this stuff too.
Yeah,
You're
that's
just like,
correct. But it's like I said, it's a different thought process. It really is. I was talking to somebody a couple weeks ago from South Florida, and they said, it's really different up here. And I said, yeah, it's a slower pace. And they said, yeah, that's what it is. And they said, but I can't get anybody to do anything. So it's like I said.
Yeah, I mean
It's different. It really is. But it's okay. I enjoy it.
But it's
really
home.
do.
I mean,
yeah.
this is home for us.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine living anywhere else. And
Not now. No.
I mean, Lisa and I even talked. We're like, we were out at the beach 2 years ago. We're like, it'd be nice to have a place at the beach. And then we were like, we like to go to the beach for vacation. So
Yeah.
if you're living there,
where are you going to
take
go?
it for granted.
take it for
Yeah,
granted.
where are you going to go? It's why take advantage of what you have.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to segue over to our music segment.
Oh, good.
Because everybody seems to love music, and the question that I ask all of our guests is, what was the first concert you went to?
The first concert that I went to, I think was the Beach Boys.
Beach Boys.
Uh-huh. I'm, California boy. And I have been to at least 15 of their concerts.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah. But, okay, even though I'm a very conservative person, I grew up in Northern California. So I was very fortunate in 1967. I got to see Janis Joplin, Big Brother and the Holding Company.
Yeah.
I got to see the Grateful Dead.
Yeah.
I got to see Jimi Hendrix.
Oh,
That's
wow.
right. Wasn't he from Washington?
Yeah, he was from, I think, Seattle.
Seattle. Yeah.
But I got to see him.
Wow.
I got to see the Jefferson Airplane when they were the airplane before they became the Starship.
Yes. Yeah. They started as planes. They became
It
airship.
became a rocket.
Yeah.
But I got to see a lot of California groups that nobody down here ever heard of them. So it was different. The other thing that was different back then, back in the 60s, is when you went to a concert, you didn't just see one group. You saw multiple groups. Like I went to a concert once and I got to see the Beach Boys, I got to see the Association, and I got to see Gary Puckett and the Union Gap. So I saw those three groups at one concert.
Was Kenny Rogers in the Association?
No.
No. Okay. I'm thinking of somebody else then. but yeah. So you really grew up in that Haight-Ashbury
Yeah.
whole deal there with the Dead and
The whole thing, yeah.
the
And
Dead
it was
were always like a traveling.
Yeah, it was
circus.
different. It really was. It was terribly different. And it's funny, like I said, being such a big fan of the Beach Boys, and I had all of their albums.
Pet Sounds.
Oh yeah.
and,
Oh goodness, yes, all of them from
Surfing USA,
beginning.
yeah.
Oh yeah, from
We
beginning.
had an 8-track of the Beach Boys when I was little.
The first album that I bought was a Beach Boys album. It was Beach Boys Endless Summer.
Oh, Endless
which
Summer,
which was the 2-disc set.
Yep.
And it had like all of the hits.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was great albums.
But Pet Sounds is like the
it is. That's
pinnacle, right?
well, believe it or not, that's the lever that motivated the Beatles to write Sgt. Pepper. They heard Pet Sounds and they thought, this is awesome.
Right.
We better do something, step up our game.
Well,
And-
Brian Wilson's amazing. I mean, he always has.
Yes.
been.
Yeah. He is.
He's a prodigy, though.
He's a genius.
Yeah.
Yeah, he really is. So yeah, like I said, I was in a band. I was in a garage band when I was in
Really?
high school. And
What was the instrument?
I was a saxophone and lead vocalist.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Wait a minute. How can you be playing the saxophone and the lead vocals
Well,
at the same
you
time?
don't play the
Not at
sax
the
the whole
same
time.
time.
I'm just curious. That's really kind of a,
Yeah. Hey, Mike Love of the Beach Boys.
Did he play an instrument?
Oh, you betcha. He was quite a saxophone player, and he
Really?
also played the keyboard. Yeah. Not as much, but he did.
Huh.
Nice.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
See, so I learned something new every day. But no, we had a lot of fun.
I mean, that was great music. I mean,
yeah.
all of that music
Yeah.
from the late 60s, early 60s.
Oh yeah, but we used to, like I said, we'd play, gigs at some of the youth groups,
Right.
And then I got a kick out of it. We went to the county fair up in Eustis.
Okay.
Okay, and Barbara and I got up there. It was the first year that we were here, and we're walking around, and I asked somebody, "Where's the rest of it?"
That was it, yeah.
They said,
Well, it wasn't like Woodstock.
no. Well, I know, but they used to have one in South Florida called the Youth Fair that was gigantic, and they would have very known entertainers
Right.
there, and they had a big music thing. But when the first year that they had it, first or second year, we got to play the Youth Fair.
Wow.
Our group did,
Really?
and that was awesome. Yeah, so we got to play the Youth Fair, and it was a lot of fun.
Well, what was your hairstyle when back then? Did you have a?
This is, we hadn't let it grow long yet.
Oh, okay, not yet. though.
Not yet.
Okay.
Yeah, this was 66.
Okay, so
65, 66, 67. And so our hair was still, we were still pretty preppy, pretty
Right.
Ivy League.
Gotcha.
And when I was in high school, okay, the boys were not allowed to have their hair touch their collar, okay? If it did, they'd send you home, and you couldn't come back until you got a haircut.
wow.
Wow.
Okay, that's the way.
That's how it was.
Yeah, that's how it was. So everybody had short hair. But once you get out of high school, then the hair started growing long. And I remember my brother went out to California for, oh God, he was out there for 3 or 4 months, and he came back and his hair was down here, and I said, "Ooh, Dad's gonna kill you."
see, if this show had a bigger budget, it could be like This Is Your Life, and we'd have like pictures of you and your band, playing saxophone. So tell me, okay, so your first concert was the Beach Boys.
Yep.
From what you can recollect.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was the first album you bought?
Believe it or not, the first album I bought was Ray Charles.
Really?
Ray Charles, country and western. And if you look at it, he had 2 albums out then in 1962, and one album was the cover was red, okay, and the other one was white.
Okay.
So if you're looking, they're very easy to find. But yes, those.
Was he able to tell a difference?
No.
Whether it was red or white? No.
No, he could not tell. Not in Braille color. But yes, that. Was,
sometimes I just have to ask the important question.
Wah, wah, wah. Where's that sound? Nope, wrong one.
no, that's a good sound.
There you go.
But no, that was my first album. Was Ray Charles.
Ray Charles.
Yep.
So what was the turning point when, because you grew up in the '60s. So what was the song you heard? Maybe it was on the radio that you said, "Wow, that's something completely different. That's rock and roll." And was there a song that you heard and you
that
said,
turned
wow,
it on,
that's
that
yeah.
switched it
Yeah,
on?
that switched and said, "Wow, that's
Like Elvis, maybe, or
No, because Elvis was. Believe it or not, we had my brother and I had Elvis 45s back in, I guess, '57 when he first came out, and I was upset because Mom gave us each here 45 for you, and he got the one that had "Don't Be Cruel" and "Hound Dog," and
oh wow,
Yeah.
and I got the one that had "Love Me Tender" and "Any Way You Want Me," I think so.
Well, you see, so you know who your mother favored.
Yeah.
She's caring about you.
Yeah.
Let him be the hound dog
Right.
and Jailhouse Rock guy.
Right, all the good stuff. But it's funny. I don't remember. All I remember is that for a while, there was. It must have been. I'm going to say about 60 or 61. I heard quite a bit of Johnny Cash.
Okay.
So he was pretty good. But I think more than a song, Ken, it was a time. When I got into the 7th grade, I guess I was old enough to go, the 7th graders could go to the dances.
Right.
And
In your high school dance.
yeah, and it was I'd go with my buddies, and it was classic 60s, where the girls would line up on one side, the boys would line up on the other side.
that didn't change in the '90s, the early '90s.
Really? Okay.
Like Footloose.
Yeah, right,
Same
exactly.
thing, yeah.
Just like
Just
that.
like that.
Today, if they were to have dances, which
And
they,
I'd walk
same
across
thing.
the gym to ask one of the girls to dance, and then when we got done, I'd come back and start, gabbing with the guys again.
Right.
And so it was, I think it was a time more than a song.
Okay.
7th and 8th grades were, lots of music,
So
lots
7th
of
and 8th
dance.
grade was what?
For me, it was 62, 63,
okay.
64.
All right, so
yeah.
that was pre-Beatles then, because the Beatles.
Oh, yeah, Beatles didn't
Yeah,
come
because
out.
the Beatles weren't until
64. Yep.
In fact, was it Ed Sullivan in '64?
No, he was.
No,
they were.
no, that was
there.
later.
He was. They were on Jack Parr, I think.
Okay.
Was one of the late night programs that they were on. I can remember seeing them.
That wasn't Jack Parr before Johnny Carson, right? Didn't Johnny take over for?
I believe
Jack
so. Yeah.
Parr? Right,
yeah.
right.
Yeah. But I just remember seeing them, the Beatles, and thinking, God, their hair is so long, and I mean,
Right.
it's nothing.
Right. No,
It's
because once
nothing.
Sgt. Pepper came out, they had beards.
Oh
and
yeah,
everybody
yeah,
else was
yeah.
going.
Right. But it was nothing.
And the '80s hair bands,
Oh
Right,
yeah.
right.
Yeah. So
makeup and all.
yeah, definitely. So it was different. It really was. I enjoy. I get a kick out of it. That's what I like about YouTube is you can play any
Yes.
song on there.
Well, what do you listen to today when you're in the car? What are you listening to?
It's funny. This is the sad part. Okay, I consider Orlando. Okay, because we're the Orlando
Right.
feed. I guess you got second tier music.
Okay.
All right, because all they play is 80s, and I'd like to listen to some 70s or 60s, and they don't play it. So
Well, you see Sirius Radio, you can have the
I know
70s.
that's correct.
I always have yacht rock because that's like all the
I love.
overproduced.
I say Alexa, play Yacht Rock.
Play Yacht Rock, right? Right.
Yeah.
It's all the overproduced. It's the Doobie Brothers.
Yeah.
It's all of that.
Saw the Doobie Brothers in person.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Saw the Doobie Brothers at a small place in Miami. They were awesome.
Yeah, they're
Now,
phenomenal.
there was another place. It was like a coffee house in Miami. I got to see Dion. And I did see the Association there, and that was really nice. I got to see The Who,
Wow.
which was quite different. And I was not inside. I was standing on a garbage can looking in the window at the Doors and Jim Morrison
Wow.
in Dinner Key. So
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was, because
So
I
now
couldn't
back
get
then-
in.
Well, yeah. But back then, I'm sure Keith Moon was still alive.
Oh, yes.
You know, playing
yeah.
drums with the Who.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was like I said, it was very different. The venues were different. Some of the places that they played aren't there anymore.
Right.
I got to see Tiny Tim.
I only saw Tiny Tim like 100 times on Johnny Carson. He's always on Johnny Carson playing that damn ukulele. Like, he was a character.
He
Well,
was. Yeah.
Well, that's music.
Yeah,
So,
it is.
This is where the end of the show is.
Yep.
And what I like to do with my guests
Okay.
is we're going to do a little bit of this or that.
Okay.
And then I've got 2 final questions for you before we check on out. We're running out of film in the cameras, as they say.
Okay.
So it's called This or That.
Okay.
And I'm going to ask you some questions, and you give me this or that.
This or that.
Home cooking or dining out?
Do you want me to say it?
Yeah, one or the
Okay.
other.
Home cooking.
Otherwise, they're not going to hear you.
Yeah. Home cooking.
Beer or cocktails?
Beer.
Domino's or Pizza Hut?
Oh my. I'm going to say Domino's.
Bacon or sausage?
Good bacon.
Good bacon.
Crunchy bacon.
Hey, recliner or rocking chair?
Rocking chair.
White bread or wheat?
Wheat.
Oreos or Chips Ahoy's?
Oh, Chips Ahoy.
Chips Ahoy. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Pancakes or waffles?
Oh, pancakes.
And the final question, and if Barbara's listening, pay attention because this is an important one.
Yeah.
Because this way you can take care of Chuck when he gets home.
Yep.
Foot massage or back massage?
Probably back.
Back. There you go.
Yeah.
There you
Oh,
go.
yeah.
All right. Final 2 questions of the night.
Okay.
If you could turn back time and talk to your 18-year-old self, what would you tell yourself?
I would tell myself as an 18-year-old to be more engaging. Okay, it's funny. I went to a 20-year high school reunion, and I saw this girl, and I went up to her and we were talking. I said, "Geez, I always had a crush on you." I said, "I wanted to take you out so badly." She says, "Why didn't you ask me?"
Right?
And I told her, I said, "I was afraid."
I was afraid of rejection.
Yeah, that's correct. Okay, so that would be the first one.
If you could have a billboard with anything on it,
Uh-huh.
what would it say?
Lord.
Like a quote maybe that you live by or
Well, there are a couple things that I was
Well, it's a
reading.
billboard, so people drive by quick.
No. Oh, you're right. Eat right for your type.
Eat right for your type. Oh, so now we got a healthy show we're
Yeah.
here right now.
There's a book out. It's called Eat Right for Your Type, and it's supposedly it says that your body metabolizes things based on your blood type.
Oh, okay. All right, so
All
it's
right.
based off of blood type.
Yeah,
Oh, all
and-
right, all right.
we may need to read this
Yeah,
book,
very-
don't we?
Well,
Very interesting book, and I
reading
lost,
it's irrelevant. We have to know what our blood type
Yeah.
is first.
I know what mine
Oh,
is.
see, I don't know what mine is.
I lost 35 pounds after reading this
Really?
book. Yeah, I did.
Wow.
Are you O positive?
I am.
Are you?
I am.
Oh, are you,
See, that's
are
what
you
I
all
am.
positive?
Doesn't matter if it's positive or negative. It's just the
just
blood
As long as
type.
you're O.
Okay, there's O, and then there's A. There's A, B, and B. All right, and O.
So,
is,
so
O,
what
O
can
is
you
the
eat?
oldest.
What can you not eat? Just so I have like a little rundown.
Believe it or not, it's based on the blood type, and one of the things that you have to give up is you have to give up coffee.
I don't drink coffee.
Say you're ahead
Oh,
of the game.
there you go.
Are
I
you
can't
ready?
stand it.
The hard part, you have to give up alcohol.
Yeah,
Oh, see, I've been
Now
I've
you
been
can-
toying with that
I
You
again
know,
can
it's-
you can have beer.
because I never gained a
oh,
pound.
wait.
You can have beer, and you can have tequila.
I don't
okay.
like
Really?
tequila.
You
Yeah.
have beer. All right, cool.
Yeah,
That's
it's
works
just
for me.
it's the way it's distilled. And those are, two that you can have. What I had to give up is I had to give up tomatoes because we're not supposed to have tomatoes.
I don't really like tomatoes much. So.
You're supposed to give up pastries, and I love donuts.
I can do without that. He loves donuts. I
I'm on
can
a
do without
donut
it.
king kick for like 3 weeks, and I'm not usually a donut guy.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, it's
I
like,
love
yeah,
them.
yeah, donut,
and
donut.
and I forced myself. I used to sit down and I'd eat 5 or 6 donuts at a time. That's why I weighed a lot more than I do now.
Wow.
Yeah, I can do without pastries. It's,
Yeah.
it's the one thing that's hard right now
Yeah.
is alcohol.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
We like our drinks.
I know.
Because we're always poolside.
Yeah,
you
well,
know,
that's why. Yeah,
We're in a tiki
but it's
bar and all that.
it's a neat book. It really is. It tells you the foods that are that encourage weight gain. It tells you the foods that would help you lose weight.
What
and
is
then
it called again?
Eat
Right.
right for your type, and it's 4, the number 4. Eat right.
I'm sure I can get that
for
on
your
Amazon
type.
with
Yeah,
some
yeah.
of my points.
Yeah,
That won't cost
yeah.
us anything.
And it's
I need to read this.
yeah, it's like I said, it's very interesting. To me, it made sense.
Right.
And I wasn't getting punished by that. I'd have a chicken breast, a sweet potato, some broccoli for dinner, and then or a piece of fish. And then afterwards, I'd have a handful of chocolate-covered raisins. To just take care of my sweet tooth. And
I love chocolate covered raisins.
and it worked.
I like chocolate covered anything.
Yeah.
Chocolate covered cat. It's good.
You don't like chocolate
Well-
covered strawberry.
But it worked, Ken. It really did.
Well, we'll have to check.
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
out.
well,
And there were-
he has to find out what his blood type
That
is.
is correct.
Yeah, I gotta
Yeah,
find my
because
blood
if
type.
it's different,
then I'll gain 500 pounds.
no, if it's different, there's a different recipes that
Oh, okay.
different blood types follow. And like I said, worked for me, and I know many people that it has. It's funny, and I know we got to watch time.
Yeah, I need the cameras dying.
Yeah, well, there was there's a new doctor in town, Sean Martin. He's has Transcend, more of an orthopedic.
Oh, he's
guy.
in Montford.
That is correct. Yeah.
Minuteman Print. We actually do his printing. So
Yes.
hi, Doc.
Hey, Doc. Hey,
Thank you
Sean.
for the business.
But anyway, he did a chamber breakfast when it was at Sonny's, and I kind of horned in on his territory a little. I started talking about the eat right for your type because he was talking about different methods, and he had heard about it, but he didn't realize that somebody had as much information as they did.
Sure. Well, because you read 3 books a week. Holy
Right.
shit. You're reading all the time.
Yeah.
So before we go,
It's a
name of the company
Gainsford Insurance.
and how can they reach you?
They can call me at 954-258-8607. That's my Broward County line that I have had since, I think, 1988, 1986, something like that. I can't get rid of it. They can always call me. I'd love to be a resource.
You have email?
I have an email. It's cggaines@AOL. Can't give up the AOL. I've had that since the beginning of time. But whatever questions you have, use me as a resource. I'm really good as far as retirement plans, qualified plans. In other words, qualified meaning that it is qualified by the Department of Labor and the IRS, because those are the two you have to watch out for.
Right.
Those are the ones that you have to be compliant with. So yeah, and like I said, I enjoy what I do. I do.
Well, like I say, everybody, don't wait until you need insurance. It's better to investigate. Chuck's got a ton of information, a ton of knowledge. You can reach out to him. You can even just talk to him about where you're at financially, health-wise, and what your plan is for the future, because the future can come quicker than you think. So, again, Chuck, thanks for coming on the show tonight.
This was great.
We had a great time.
Yeah.
Lisa, thank you as usual. You're looking beautiful back there, and at least you're not
She is.
sleeping on your computer tonight. And hey, everybody, have a great week. We'll see you next Wednesday with Tom and Jackie Peterson with Splash Social Marketing.
There you go.
They'll be here. Don't miss that show because it's all about marketing, using the internet, using Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, you name it. They are the experts, and we'll see you next week. Thanks for stopping in.